for you is fantastic. You've got people here who've actually spent time and a lot of effort in these uniforms. And like I said, they're not that forgivable when you're under hot lights and everything, but the point is that we love the show. The styles were distinct, they were timely, and they were interesting. They were interesting. Especially with all the attention to detail and everything else. So what I was saying was that I think we're blessed today to have some representatives that have really gone out. I'm going to introduce some of them, but really gone out and display what they've done. So my hat's off to them, because I couldn't do it. Like I said, we all have day jobs and all that kind of stuff, but it's just a special love, a special enjoyment of actually recreating this kind of stuff. So this is actually, I'm a newbie. This is my first foray into, cosplay and everything. So it was kind of a late victory lap for me this year and everything. So I just wanted to do it. But not to go any further, what I wanted to do is, like I said, both Terry and Sarah should be on their way over right now. But let's just get started so we kind of keep things going with the questions and everything. And when they come in, obviously we'll stop, welcome them in, and that's it. Introducing folks, over on my left, your right, is Brian, and he is hailing from California. And of course, to my right, your left, is the wonderful and talented Michael. And you're from where?
I'm from Kansas City.
Kansas City. And if you don't mind, I want to highlight some of the people who are actually in uniform here. Should we go to Serena?
Yes, Serena, my leading lady. We have her today. You know Serena from the original film.
And we're going to bring up and show off some of the ladies as well. Thank you. Just want to stand up in place, Pearl. We're from the Blackstar Squadron.
Hello.
And main office. And again, we're going to go into more detail a little bit, but also Lieutenant Bull.
My hard hat's over there. All right.
And also we have a starfighter over there.
This is our international student. Everyone plays right out from Australia.
And in the back we have the wonderful Star Scout. Your name again?
E. Marshall.
E. Marshall, that's right. E. So welcome. So let's go and talk a little bit about Blackstar.
Yeah, so Blackstar Squadron, we're an original series costuming group. We focus solely on original series, primarily because we all got introduced probably at a young age to the series, and we just have a passion. So our real goal for the group is just to have fun and respect each other. We share information. We have a website that's online that we're building and posting additional material on. You'll see some photos if you go there. I wish I had a presentation for you today, but we weren't sure what kind of AV equipment we have here in the room. As David said, I'm kind of new to this group as well, but it's just one of those things that once you get involved, you kind of just get more excited about it. About cosplay and costuming, there's a little bit of a small definition between the two. Cosplay is when you dress up as a character and you take over some of the mannerisms and personalities and you're kind of acting. Costuming is where you're just trying to make the most accurate costume you can and you don't necessarily get into character. I'm more on the costuming side because I don't really have any acting skills and I feel a little uncomfortable doing that. So I just dress up and feel great and it connects me back to my childhood, but I don't necessarily want to try to pretend I'm Richard Hatch, for example. Go ahead.
One of the great things about Blackstar is that it's one of the online forums. It's not a military thing, and it's also not a sorority, fraternity thing. It's kind of in the middle. So I mean, we have a rank structure and everything. It's a wonderful group. I've met a lot of wonderful people, and I've really been blessed by having them because, there's days that, you just want to be able to chime in and log in and see what's going on and stuff, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed at the quality of the camaraderie that I've talked to some people, because there's some groups out there, I won't mention like for Star Wars groups, but there's some groups out there that really get anal about, well, that's not, well, this is not everything. So, but to tell you the truth, the great thing about Blackstar is that we've got a lot of tolerance about that. And let me stop right there and see the lovely and talented Sarah Rush coming in. And also the lovely and talented Terry Carter. Please join us. Please join us.
Hey, I'm sorry it was late. We didn't realize it was, but this is the coldest building. Oh my goodness.
And us in uniform, we're quite thankful for that.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, do you want
Please have a seat.
Oh, please, yes, please have a
Oh,
seat.
sure, sure.
I was telling Ms. Rush before, as I was looking at these exhibitions, and I have newfound respect for you and the hot lights and filming, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. But I just want to finish a little piece about Blackstar. One of the great things about it is that there's a wonderful tolerance. Like I said, they're not as anal as like, well, this not right, this not right. Hey, get a grip. These people are wonderful, they love the series, they want to reenact things in their own kind of way. We have kind of what we call like a 10-foot rule per se for membership, once you get your uniform done. That doesn't dissuade people from getting involved, but we have pages and droves of information that people have, like the schematics of stuff, of uniforms. Some folks have actually contributed and done their own tutorials per se. It's like, so we're following every week, it's like, oh, how's your uniform going? This is great. It's just an actual love. So like I said, this is my first trip to the rodeo, per se. But like I said, I'm blessed at having a lot of folks involved with it that have and really exemplify that passion. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to actually this afternoon, in the time that we do have remaining, we want to kind of talk, ask questions, obviously, to both Ms. Rush and Mr. Carter about what it was like with filming, this and that. Please feel free to intersperse questions as well. We have a little bit of a structure, but you know what? We just want you to ask questions, because that's why you're here. But I also wanted to highlight some of the wonderful displays that we have had come to the con this weekend, so I hope you can appreciate that. With no further ado, let me go to the first question. I gave a little bit of a read ahead, but let's see. But they've been busy, as you can certainly appreciate. One of the great things about the style of the uniforms, obviously, is the Egyptian style. We talked a little bit about that at the last panel. Now, let's dip in the Wayback Machine. Back in the late 70s, we had Glenn was also a fan of the Von Daniken things, Charity of the Gods, and obviously, if you all remember, most of you are my age, King Tut. Remember that? We're going around the country, they're making the biggies of it, so I'm not sure if Glenn actually had that kind of his knocking somewhere in terms of a distinctive style for this year. And I was wondering what you two may recollect in terms of any thoughts for that, what he had input for.
Well, certainly Glenn didn't share any of his ideas with us. That would be in the planning stage, and we were at the end of the process when we got the scripts, and hopefully they would not change before we learn our lines. But definitely, as you say, Glenn was very, very mindful of the whole Egyptian history, and I was very impressed with what he was able to bring to the show.
Sarah?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. For me, I just thought it was great. I wish I still had mine. I am so, oh my goodness, Jean-Pierre Dorléac, who was the costume designer. Oh, he was a wonderful man, and he would have passed on that costume had I asked him. So I noticed that several of you. Now I have to know, where do you get these made? I want one. I want to lose some weight first, and then I'm going to get one made, because I would love to.
They're very slimming.
Yeah. Not enough in my case. We're going to actually highlight some of the outfits I think in this thing, but actually from an actor and actor standpoint, I mean, you both have been in the wealth, and I pulled Terry aside because I saw him in Paris from the 1959. I saw that on Turner Classic Movies. It's like, and my lovely fiance said, "That's Terry Carter." It's like, oh, what? No, he was right in the end and everything. It's just a marvelous movie and everything. Great, the Turner Classic Movies brings that stuff to the table. But in terms of other productions that you've been on, how would you look at the actual, like, the tailoring of the uniforms and the outfits, and how would you compare that with other productions?
Well, for an actor, what you're wearing is very, very important. Even when you're auditioning for something, you want to wear something that really lends itself to the character, that helps you, that resonates for you how this character is. So for this particular costume, it was perfect. I mean, I felt that it, because we were working on the bridge. We had roles that we were working people. I was kind of thinking about my little role, and I was a working woman, and also somewhat militarily, it's a uniform, it's an outfit, and with just the kind of tailored feel of it, the boots, it made you feel as if you were working and you were part of a company.
If I may ask, how many outfits were made? Because you see a lot of extras on the bridge. You probably see like maybe only like 20 outfits made. You just had different people wearing them from back and forth in the background. Would you know how many outfits they actually made?
No way that we could know.
Okay.
But they spared no expense. So if you saw extras walking in the bridge, they were wearing the uniforms that we wore. And they were, you know, everything is made to order. It's not as if you walk into some men's shop or something and then pick it off the rack. They were made from the, you know, tellers, they were made by tellers.
Yeah.
Aside from Laura Sprang, who apparently had to change her uniform, show less. So you want to stand up. What I'd like to do is, how did you feel about the female fashions on the show?
So, first of all, before we go into Serena's wonderful outfit, I want to talk for just a second about cosplay again, and make a statement, and I'll get off my soapbox real quickly. Cosplay is not a body type, and cosplay is not a skill level. Anyone in this room can do this. Anyone will look good in an outfit. Cosplay is about the expression of your love for a property like Battlestar Galactica or Star Wars or anything. So if anyone out here is feeling like, gee, I don't want to do that because I won't look good, this is empowering. When you put on a Warriors outfit, you get excited. And I don't know if Terry or Sarah, the first time you saw yourself in a mirror, I mean, if you had the experience I had, it was like, oh my gosh, I look really cool. I don't know if I do or not, but that's the impression I got, and it feels so great. So we wanted to do something a little different with our Serena outfit. So this is something that we didn't hand sew. I am actually going to start taking sewing classes because I'm so inspired by this club. But what we did is we just assembled this from various places on the internet. The base dress is a vintage 70s polyester brown that looks similar to the one that Jane Seymour wore. We got it off Etsy for like $30. Didn't really do any modifications to it. It seemed to be about the right length and everything. We did buy a little shawl off of Etsy here, which is serving for the cape. It had these goofy little like yarn things attached to it, so we just snipped that off and put a band around on it for like a few dollars. We went to Walmart and got some blue sweats and just toned down the color a little bit with some black RIT. And if you don't know what RIT is, it's a material or a liquid you can use to dye clothing. It has powder too, right? And then we went to Andrew's closet, and if you don't know anything about my lady, she's got a whole closet full of shoes. So we were fortunate enough to have some shoes that kind of looked like they would fit in. The one piece we did make was the belt, and we went out and just got some $2 material, cut it up. I actually figured out how to do the sewing machine good enough to get it to work, and we bought some parachute cord to put on. So I don't know if you guys remember Serena from the movie, but what do you think? Does it look kind of like a Serena outfit?
Yeah, absolutely.
It sure does.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we hope that this kind of thing inspires people out here to please, try it. Get your hand at trying to put an outfit.
I'm sure not everybody's challenged as me. It took me a while to get this uniform on. During the filming, how long did it get obviously easier as the series went on, but how easy was it to get into uniform, out of uniform?
Oh, I don't think it was notably difficult, or it was pretty easy. It was pretty easy actually. My costume was in a sense similar to the color. I wore blue, of course. In fact, this is. Oh, he's got my costume on. In fact, that looks like the one I wore.
I can tell you what's wrong with it if you don't want to. Okay.
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, no, I was saying you wear the rider boots, correct? How was putting on these boots for you on a daily basis? You remember those?
Yeah, I was okay.
Taking them off?
No, not bad.
My question for you is, how the heck do you keep this aligned? It's amazing. I know you guys have order of people who fuss on the
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is that like a common thing? Like goes out of line and it's kind of scooted out of place?
I don't know.
Because it's Velcro.
We were, yeah.
You remember that, right?
Yeah, but we were in a different, we had other things to think about.
Of course.
We had
about the Velcro?
We had people.
You know we'd be asking about it?
Right, right, should have thought that.
Aw.
That's basically.
Yeah, yeah, it was just, oh gosh, it was, yeah, very comfortable.
Mm.
Yeah, very comfortable, and the set was, except of course when lights are on and can get warm, but usually studios are, you know, these huge studios, and this set was an amazing set, and it was a huge set, and it was chilly. I remember it being chilly, and I remember thinking, oh, I'm glad I'm in this nice little comfy, cozy costume, keeping me warm.
I didn't see you guys play.
No.
On the vein of the blue suit, if I may ask, there was some rumor and talk and everything that there was actually a battle suit that was supposed to be in blue or something that they were considering for your character, Terry, and I wasn't sure whether like a battle suit, you know, like with the jacket and everything, but in blue. Anything reached you, or is that pretty much?
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Okay, that's what I suspected.
Spelled out.
Sounds good. If we may just shift over a little bit, just over to the Warrior Tans. Let's see. I don't know how comfortable they were. I mean, obviously you wore the Tans yourself. I wasn't sure how comfortable they were. Obviously, were they like a? What was the actual material used?
I think it's very similar to this, my goodness.
So this is what we call a faux chamois, I think is what they call it.
Yeah.
It's almost like an expensive material, but it's not.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's very soft.
You can wax your car with it. You can.
Yeah. Faux chamois.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was terrifically comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved putting it on. I loved wearing it.
And please, if there's any questions in the audience, please feel free. Oh, you have one. Yeah.
So, on the set, when they had all the computers turned on and the lights turned on, was it really hot on the set? Did you get wearing your costume?
It was warmer. I don't know. I wouldn't say it was coffee in it.
I don't recall that.
No.
Don't.
Great ventilation. You know, the best studios, so they would take care of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember what stage the bridge was on when you first watched?
Oh, golly.
Oh, what a question that is.
That's a good question. I don't
It is, but I mean, we are talking about, what is it, 38 years ago?
But I will tell you something funny about those stages. I was a contract player at Universal. And so I was on the lot all the time. I would just
Excuse
go.
me, I think you should explain what a contract player is.
Oh, a contract player is a person who I was put under contract by Universal. Technically, it was a 7-year contract, but I was there about 4 years. Sharon Glass and I were the very last Universal contract players ever. And so and there were there were lots of contract players. Jamie Lee Curtis was a contract player.
Marilyn Monroe was a contract player.
Exactly, we had a lot, yes.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford,
Yes.
really? Yes. And my friend, one of my friends was David Mathau, who was Walter Matthau's son. And David also is on the bridge. He's in Battlestar Galactica. And I remember with David, I mean, we used to go to Universal all the time. And I used to roller skate around the lot at Universal. Just go from stage to stage. And I remember Walter was making House Calls, the movie House Calls at that time. And I used to just go to that studio and just watch them film. It was just so great. Charles Grodin, who was so amazing, who is so amazing. He was shooting a film, and I had met him because he was from Pennsylvania, and I would just go and watch. That was pretty great.
Actually, one more thing we'd like to do with the Tans and everything. Pearl, would you like to show and just demonstrate your handiwork there? She made that herself.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
so I am also new to the costuming world, and this doesn't have the correct material, but I made it all by myself, and it's the first costume I ever made, so I think it came out pretty good. I got these boots off of Amazon for about $20,
Wow.
and as you'll notice, David and Michael have 2 pins, while I have 1, because my costume is based off of Rigel, and Rigel has 1 pin in the middle.
Right, right. Oh, take a picture of us.
Ready? Here's one. And one more. Thank you.
That's one.
Great job, it's so cute.
And go to the flight crew. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I might add too, she made this too on the message board for Blackstar. She posted step by step. How she made it, so others can do it themselves.
So, Pearl, thank you. Thank you for weeks and weeks of work on this.
It's so great.
Before we leave the tans and everything, I know one of the things that Richard and Dirk complained about quite a bit was these darn boots. How long they took to get them on. In fact, I saw behind the scenes pictures of Dirk just keeping the boots on because it was like, I don't want to take them off again. So I'm not sure, like I said, boots-wise, now you were regular just black boots, so we didn't see your boots really too often, but Terry, you had...
Black boots.
Black boots, right, exactly.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm talking about the actual CDs.
I don't remember the reinforced toe.
Now, if our male model here for the boots can keep the leg up. No. Those are the actual, as most of you probably already know, I don't want to insult you or anything, but those are actually Italian motorcycle boots called CD full-bore boots. Now, this is what the boots looked like in the beginning. They're obviously full-bore Italian. These are the vintage boots that they actually came from. And of course, what they did was they went ahead and obviously covered the actual toe, the steel toe, and actually the front here and the part of the back here, and they just spray painted them brown. And I think several times, I think of course the series prepared brown, I think they had to re-spray paint them a couple times because they get nicked, you know, on the battle scenes and everything. So, but the nice thing about these is that these actually have very distinctive cam buckles. And I believe I was told that they use both cam and the non-cams on the actual series, but most of us like the cams because, sorry, they look cool. Anyways, but this is what they look like, you know, originally. And like I said, then they get painted brown and everything for an actual. Do you know the actual color?
Cordovan.
Cordovan, thank you. So I actually got mine done for $40. I went to a local color and I said, listen, let me take care of you off the $40. Can you do it for me? He said, yeah. I said, do it. So if you're great at leather work and everything at home, feel free to do it, but to me, no. I buy boots for $200, I don't want to ruin them. So,
This is something about costuming and cosplay and movies, TV shows, that, you know, as a child growing up, you always think, how did they make these fantastic, awesome stuff? And as you do research on these, you realize that it's all just stuff they found off the shelf. It's cheaper that way. So they buy black boots with red, white, and blue stripes on them, and they just spray paint it brown because it looks cool. And there's so many elements of all these costumes that are really just off-the-shelf things that you would do. It's enlightening how creative the people who put these costumes together really are.
to cross gender a little bit, one of the cool things about Star Trek was that, like in the Klingon outfits, the old series, they would take a lot of fabric and then just turn it around. Because they found the rougher side was more distinctive than per se, and I know that plays a lot of it here. So, anything to add to that? Okay. Yes, we'd like to go into the actual flight crew. Now we have, I know Michael has his own that he was working on today. Here we have Bill, and he's modeling his, sorry, he's modeling his flight crew.
Oh, buddy, we have to drop the line, so not my deal.
So the warrior outfit, the pilot outfit is kind of popular. Every little boy, every little girl wants to be in these. But one of the great things is when you get somebody who wants to do something else, something different. A Serena, a flight crew. You know, hardly anyone thinks about.
Someone has to fix their vipers.
There you go.
Yeah, like this morning, I had to buckle my boots up because I couldn't.
Yeah, he actually took a picture of me, you know, like yanking his straps in there so he could put his boots on there. And so I was like, you know, this is one of the jobs that you never see the flight crew do. Right. And that's put the Warriors' boots on for them. So I'm like, so they're working on it, he snaps a picture, and so that'll pull on the page too.
How'd you put this together?
My mother.
Always a great story.
We all thank our moms.
Right? The thing is, like, I come from costuming background. I've done this for almost 10 years. I started out with Star Wars. I do G.I. Joe. And Battlestar was the next thing coming in. So on our message board, we actually have a thread that started. Hey, here's the flight crew. How do we, you know, So throughout the thread, we had people posting things like, well, hey, if you go to this site, you can get the coveralls. So I got these coveralls. I got these coveralls in white, thinking I'm going to dye them the proper color. Now, if anyone's seen his flight crew yesterday, his is the right color, mine is not. Here's the thing, Rip dye sucks for these coveralls. So if I could do it over again, I would have done what he did with his, and he took color remover. He got orange coveralls and used the color remover to kind of take out the color. And then we did find Rip dye that was the right color, sunshine orange. And then so after removing the orange out of it, then he put the sunshine orange into it, and it came out perfect. And so I have to give him kudos for that.
It was absolute luck. I didn't know what I was doing, so I stumbled into maybe what was the right answer. But I don't think it matters. We do have a 10-foot rule in our group. As long as you look recognizable from 10 feet away, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something that someone says, gosh, that looks like you're from Battlestar Galactica. And I think he does. I think he looks great.
It looks wonderful.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
I was going to ask, Blackstar Squadron, that's the website?
Yeah.
Do you guys do like charity events like the 501st?
Not really. We don't do events per se. We do try to get out to conventions like this and local conventions. In fact, next Saturday I'm going to be at the convention in Kansas City, just walking around. What we're trying to do is keep the old Battlestar Galactica imagery and memories alive. So we would certainly love it if people would donate to charities or whatever, but we don't collect any money. We're not into that type of thing.
Nobody asks us. No, I'm a member of 501st, the Star Wars costume group, and I do a lot of charitable work and whatnot. But if there's a reason to do it, then I'm sure people will be more than happy to contribute. And I think I was in this room with Jack Stover yesterday, and he was talking about being an actor, and I think that goes along with what a costume is, and what happens when you put on the uniform. But the first time you put on the uniform, you guys have done many productions. But when you put on the uniform, your stature is different. You act the part. You become that person. And that's what happens in the costuming world. Is we want to relive, like we lived before. We want to create a fantasy world. We want to become. I want to become someone. And that's kind of a neat thing. And so we go and find that community, that comradeship, and we find ways to do it. And we go to the sources. We ask you guys, how was it? It's funny when we ask actors, and they're like, I don't care what kind of material, it's what we got.
Not a good actor.
Not a good actor?
No, a good actor cares.
Cares what
A
they're
good
wearing.
actor cares what you're wearing and also your shoes.
Oh,
It's the way you walk and how do you walk? How does your character live?
Jeremy Bullock is quoted as saying he was Boba Fett because his shoes fit. But I got off track because I was actually going to bring it right back to what this was about, and I forgot.
That's okay. Actually, one thing about Terry, what he mentioned earlier was that, of course, as most of you know, he was there, for Lieutenant Boomer before he had the thing. Terry, have you had any regrets during the filming of the series that you didn't get a chance to put these wonderful boots on and go on the site filming and all that kind of stuff?
None whatsoever. I never looked
Excellent. Any questions from the audience?
Did you think there would be such a wonderful family still thinking about you after so many decades?
You want to answer that? Good Lord, no. Are you kidding? I mean, I can't, I'm sitting here and I can't believe it. No. To me, there's no precedent for this. I don't know of any kind of show, movie, or TV series that has had this kind of life. It bowls me over, it really does. Brings tears to my eyes.
And I just feel so blessed that I, happened to be under contract. I had the audition when I did. It was a miracle. And then, and I wish that I were in more episodes now, but I was so busy kind of shooting other shows at Universal. So they would, Glenn would say, is she available? And then I'd come in and I'd do something small, or I'd do a voiceover. But had I known, I'd much rather have focused on doing these shows than other ones.
One of the things we want to get to, is obviously some of the sources for the battle outfit real quick. This is something that some of you may know. Magnoli is a wonderful, I don't know, are they based in New Zealand?
Well, the website points to New Zealand. The main office is in New York.
Right, and these are made in India. This is actually a jacket I purchased for like $600. This is actual suede. It's most of the ultra suede you see. One of the things I like about it is that it's got a little bit more heft to it per se. It doesn't sag per se. I have nothing at all with it. I mean, I love the uniform and whoever has it, but I wanted something a little bit more heft, a little bit more body to it and everything. So that's why I decided to spend a little bit extra and get this here. But it's very well done. And one of the nice things about the Magnoli site, I'm not trying to hawk them per se, but they do actually. It's not off the rack. They will ask for your measurements and they will make it custom to you. So again, a lot of us can't afford that, and that's fine. But if you are interested in doing that further, like I said, they do actually make a very, very good product and something. So I was a little worried about some of the other options we're in, but I decided to go with this here. And what we wanted to talk about real quick, our time is getting short, but I wanted to talk a little bit and actually have Michael talk about some of the things on the Colonial Warrior outfit real quick. And let's not forget to have him talk about his headset, vintage headset.
So this would be some of the accoutrement of the pilot outfit. Again, as we said before, some of this stuff is just off the shelf. This knee board, this pilot's leg computer is what it's called, is an actual military or civilian aircraft piece of equipment. This is a vintage unit from probably the early 80s. Side by side, there you go.
Different customers.
The show used sharp calculators as the computers, and we have some actual ones that are from the era.
The 5804.
5804. I could not find those, and I was too cheap to pay too much for those. So I just found some $9 vintage 1976 or 7 calculators online with some cool writing on it, and it works. It's good for me. I also put some blinky lights on it. Because blinky lights, everybody likes blinky lights. $2.
Breaking the pilot up is when you have a good clear shot.
All right.
Overs and not getting the feel. You see the blinky lights, that's like a figure that.
Josh Reardon said blinky lights mean science or something.
That's right.
When he's filled firewood.
I have no idea who invented these buckles, but they're so iconic and so cool looking. I just can't believe that these are so hard to find now.
That's something from Sensamite.
Pardon?
That luggage company, Sensamite.
Is that who made these?
They were used for anti-shake pieces.
There's some little things on the belt here. We think that they're supposed to be maybe recharge cylinders for the gun, or maybe little mini grenades. These are actually, if anyone knows, these are markers that were sold in stores. That you just take the tip off and you write on. The show just painted them gold.
It's not employed anyway.
Well, because of fans like us, right? The pistol holster is this brown spray painted plastic, and it's molded in shape. The pistol is something that was made using a buck and clay, and they took model parts from like ship models and battle cruisers and tanks, and they put it on, and then they created a mold of it. They had some working guns on the show. I don't think either of you ever were in a battle per se, but the working guns, the hero guns on the show, had a clear emitter and a aircraft strobe light, and they were powered with a 600-volt battery that was on the back,
Yes.
and the wire would run down the arm. And there's some scenes where you can see Apollo and you can see the wire kind of going. But I don't know if I'd want to be playing with 600 volts. I mean, it's kind of a dangerous thing.
Not at the top.
Right. And lastly, I don't know, Sarah, I think you wore something like this.
I did.
So this is the microphone that they
Yes.
used on the show.
Yes.
Bridge crew used it. In the first pilot, the Warriors used it when they went down to the planet. They had a wire that ran off the back. I think later they took it off, so I clipped mine off because it was kind of hard to deal with. But this is the same style microphone. This is a Shure SM10A, I believe, is the model number. The only difference is the headband. The ones you wore probably had a single band that went across the top. It was plastic. They changed that a little bit. But this is another item that you can find on eBay broken, and for a few bucks, you can talk to the crew. So we got a few minutes maybe for questions of the audience. We'd love to field questions for Sarah, Terry, or any of us up here. If anyone wants to say anything.
Yes, sir. No. I have heard that in the 70s there was a toy company that made Cylon rifle. You know if that's...
I had not ever heard of the Cylon toy. And if you've seen those Cylon rifles, and Brian is an expert because he's built these things. But they're really basic. And I'm sure if they sold a toy like that, they probably made it look like something a little boy would want to play with, because it's really just like 2 pieces of 2x4 is what it looks like. Because the gloves that the Cylons wore were so big, and they couldn't really have triggers or anything like that. But have you ever heard of that, Brian?
No, and probably if it's a toy company, they probably took something from an earlier product line, slapped Battlestar Blackstar logo on it, packaged it, and ID'd it.
That would make sense.
There were toys that were released back then that, like, they had the Colonial pistol, and it looked nothing like what the Colonial Warriors actually carried, but it was that toy company's creative license and slapping the BSG name on it. So, I mean, that happened.
Real quick, we're going to close this here, but one of the things I wanted to do to encourage you to enjoy your art, go into getting some of the costumes done, is I happen to have a action figure I had done of myself. So it was one of the great things was that I was able to get the uniform, and I am now engaged to be married to the most fantastic photographer I've ever known. She's fantastic. She's shot soldiers, and obviously politicians and national politicians and presidents and everything. So she's very well, she's done the circle, so shall we say. But the wonderful thing is that she took a quick picture of me, had her photoshopped and everything, and sent it over to a guy in the UK, and he actually did. I said, just make the head sculpt, what did I say, heroic and dashing. So but these were done cheap because if you remember the peg warmers, the old original ones and everything, obviously they weren't the highest quality compared to Star Wars, but I just wanted to announce this, and so most likely I'll probably have it make the rounds, get autographed by everybody, because it's just one of the things. I bought it for friends for my family at Christmas. I'll probably charge them for autographs, but anyways, so sorry, shameless plug. Any last comments?
Yes, I will say, and I'm sure Patricia, the fiance, would agree with me, that Colonel, who has just become a colonel, is heroic and dashing.
So, I think we're going to conclude everything here. I just want to thank all the volunteers who came in uniform. I think they're wonderful and inspirational and everything. Of course, I want to give thanks obviously to Ms. Rush and Mr. Carter for their time and efforts, and I love those little backstories you don't hear about anywhere else but conventions. So again, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Love it. Okay, so we're going to, can I have one of these cards?
Yes, please.
This one's fun.
Yes.